Welcome to the Store Builders Podcast, the place where we talk to industry experts and successful store owners about what it takes to build a thriving e-commerce business. Every episode, we deliver the raw, unfiltered recommendations that will catapult your store to new heights. Ready to get serious about expanding your e-commerce empire? Well, then let's get to work.
I'm your host, Ryan Cowden, and this week we're joined once again by Chris Lemma. In this episode of the Store Builders Podcast, Chris and I discuss ways to reevaluate your shipping methods to stay competitive with Amazon and other online sellers. One of the many ways Amazon has changed the online retail market is by making free shipping an expectation for most consumers. Free shipping has gone from a perk to a requirement that consumers frequently expect when shopping online. In fact, the most cited reason for leaving an online shopping cart is shipping fees. It would be a mistake to think that people only expect this from Amazon. Free shipping is becoming more and more an industry standard practice. If you leave the shipping costs in, you may be left behind by your competitors. On this episode, you'll hear how important free shipping is to consumers. Paying for shipping is the biggest reason online shoppers abandon their carts. So, while it's not guaranteed to lose you customers, having an additional charge for shipping is something your customers are probably growing less and less tolerant of. Next, we'll discuss how to adjust pricing to account for free shipping. By raising your prices a little upfront, you can often cover shipping costs without your consumers knowing the difference. Then, we'll go over some ways to cut shipping costs. By trying different shipping materials and using some online hacks that we'll share, there are ways to lower the weight of your packages and cut the overall cost of shipping. After that, we'll share some of the ways that transparency and choice can build trust with your consumers. By offering different shipping options to your consumers and allowing them to choose, you are letting them take the initiative and showing them the price of shipping before they check out. Finally, we'll talk about why you should try to accomplish this on your own. Going to a Fulfilled by Amazon model might seem logical in light of their free shipping options, but there are a lot of hidden fees and costs to doing business with Amazon. It might not be worth it in the long run. We suggest trying the strategies in this episode before changing your business model. If you're looking for ways to cut shipping costs and stay competitive in a free shipping market, then this is one episode you won't want to miss. There's a lot of actionable advice in this episode, so grab something to write with because you're going to want to take notes. As always, I'll be back on the other side to wrap up any loose ends. So, without any further ado, here's my conversation with Chris Lemma. All right, Chris, welcome back. It's great to see you again.
It's great to see you.
We are talking about free shipping today and the big question, how to compete with Amazon. So obviously a huge issue if you're shipping anything. I kind of thought it'd be good to get your opinion on the customer side of this real quick. We know shoppers like to get free shipping. How much do they like it? Is it a deal breaker if you don't offer free shipping?
It is almost a deal breaker.
Okay.
It's not always a deal breaker. If your product is commoditized, iPad charger, right? iPhone case. If you're commoditized, boy, there's not a lot of room for a customer to choose your product over someone else's when you have a variable $7 shipping rate on a $29 case, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work. And so people leave. And in fact, I think consistently every year, the single biggest reason why people abandon carts continues to be ranked tied to free shipping, right?
Wow.
There wasn't free shipping, people left. It's above just about every other reason.
Wow.
And it has been for years, right? So Amazon has created a default where you just go, I expect free shipping. Now, Granted, Amazon's also selling a lot of commoditized stuff, right? I mean, that's just the nature of that big catalog. So when you're buying specialty items, right, where you can't get them from anywhere else, and there's an intrinsic notion of value to what you're buying, right? You can get away with charging for shipping. But almost everybody who does that flat rates it. So it's $5 for shipping, or $7 for shipping, right? $10 for shipping. It's just flat. It's not, well, it kind of depends on how much you put in your cart. If I put a lot of stuff in my cart and suddenly my shipping goes up to $30, I'm out of there, right? But if it's just like, look, we have a flat fee and it's this and it's predictable, and you're selling a non-commoditized product, I think you can still get away with charging for shipping. But that isn't maybe the best strategy, right? There may be better ways to handle how you decide what you're doing with shipping.
Okay. So if you're considering offering free shipping, does that mean that you're eating the cost? You're letting that eat into your margins, your profits, or?
So my favorite example here is a company you may have heard of called Costco.
Yeah.
Costco was selling a piece of furniture, like a chest of drawers or something. And if you went to the physical Costco, right?
Yeah.
Costco would sell you that dresser for like, I think it was like $200, right? $199. When you went to Costco.com, right? They said free shipping, right? And you're like, that's awesome. But the price of the dresser was $299, right? Meaning there was $100 increase in the price, even though they said free shipping, right? And if you didn't know better, if you didn't physically walk into a Costco and go, wait a minute, it's $100 cheaper if I just drive to the store and pick it up, put it in the back of my car and drive it home, you may not ever have known. Now, there could be lots of reasons and background to that story that I don't know about. But what I'll tell you is that is a strategy where you announce free shipping, but you change the price of your product, right? If you were planning on charging your product $19.99 and now you're charging $24.99, but with free shipping, and especially if you don't have it showing up somewhere else, right? They can't go look at your physical store because you only have an online store. Just putting some of that shipping costs into your price of the product is a very workable strategy. I don't recommend that you raise your prices by $100, but but yeah, raising your price and tucking in some shipping costs into your price is part of it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And a very workable strategy because people are so used to seeing free shipping that's what they're looking at, and they don't look over here at the, oh, I would have thought it was 19 and it's 24, right? You control that, right? You control your product price.
Right. So mentally, they would much prefer a more expensive product with free shipping.
If you're going to charge them $5 one way or another, I would put it on the product than on the shipping.
Okay. What are some smart ways that if you just want to cut your shipping costs and keep that lower, what are some ways we could go about doing that?
So the most expensive, to understand shipping, right? I mean, almost everything is based on weight. So the most expensive approach to shipping something is using cardboard, right? And the cardboard box, which is how we all get our stuff, right? So I get boxes. I have a problem in that I like to buy things online.
Yeah.
And so my UPS and FedEx guys come over to the house enough that I probably have to get them Christmas gifts this year. And my wife knows one of them, right? When the UPS guy last year left, he changed routes and left. Like he rang the doorbell to say goodbye to my wife.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like it was bad,
That's
right?
Awesome. Yeah.
And she's like, "How bad is it that I know our guy?" And I'm like, "I get a lot of packages." So, one of the things you end up with is just a ridiculous amount of cardboard, and cardboard is not light. What we've started to see industry-wide and what I see at my house, right, is you're starting to see people deliver in different kinds of packages, right?
Okay.
Sending stuff in bags, sending stuff in padded envelopes. They're sending things in a container that is cheaper to send, right? And the thing is, right, you get a box, but then the box is bigger than the thing because you don't want to end up buying tons of different variety of boxes. So now you're also shipping bigger boxes that potentially aren't great. So now you have the cost of putting filler into the box to make sure the thing isn't rolling around. The whole thing is just a challenge. So at the end of the day, if you can trim down the weight by changing your packaging, you could, in the long run, right, you could see a significant savings in cost.
Okay. I've never seen people ship in bags. Are you talking about plastic bags or what?
Yeah,
what kind of...
there.
Okay.
It's like so. I get so much stuff here. It's no joke. Like
yeah.
all I have to do is bend down, and right next to my desk, I have a bag that I opened up yesterday. Right.
Okay.
So,
okay. Something like that.
So this was a bag, right?
Mhm.
I didn't open it where they told me to open it, but
Yeah.
it is a piece of plastic, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, what I got was this super cool. I'm doing free advertising right now. This was a T-shirt I got.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And this T-shirt is these funnel folks that I was checking out, and they sent me this free T-shirt, and I was like, cool. But the T-shirt was just folded up and put into this. This is not going to get injured, right? And so they put it into this bag and shipped me a bag, and I was like, okay, well, this has almost no weight. Now, logically, you would say, yeah, but Chris, who wouldn't send a T-shirt in a bag? But we don't sell just T-shirts, right? So I go, oh yeah. I bought glasses the other day by Canon. Canon are the best polarized lenses in the world, right? We're having a lot of fun with commercials today. This is a box, right? But this box, when it came to me wrapped in a padded envelope, like a manila envelope, right? Well, why? Sure. Because the sunglasses are already in a protective case. So it doesn't have like this. You're not going to injure anything on the box because the glasses are in a case. Then they have the box. So then you're like, well, this is the product packaging anyway. This is going to get shipped. But now just put it in a padded envelope and mail it instead of putting it in a bigger box with a bunch of air saving stuff. So it's changing your materials to make them as light as possible. I could do this all day, right? Just start grabbing all the different boxes and containers that I have in my office. But it's changing the material so that you can end up making the weight of your package lighter, which will change the price, right?
Why add weight to it if you don't have to? That's a great idea. Okay.
Then, we were talking about how to get, how to lower your costs. One of them is changing. One of them is changing the container, right? That you're shipping in. The other is get those containers for free. And you go, what?
Yeah.
So if you ship via USPS, the U.S. Postal Service, this may be reason 265 why they're going out of business, right? Or why they're so expensive to the federal government. I'm making no judgment on that. But you can get free supplies. And you're like, are you serious? Like they're gonna give you the thing for free. And you go, yeah. So to me, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this, right? We every time we went to the UPS store or FedEx store, I'm pretty sure my wife was paying for boxes, whatever. And then a friend of mine said, oh, if you're going to send that out, just use USPS and they'll give you the box free. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So you can go to USPS, store.usps.com, right? If you go there and it's, where you can buy stuff, and then you go into supplies, right? So you're at the post store, you go into supplies, and in the supplies, you're looking for shipping supplies. And then you have a little checkbox and it says free shipping supplies. And you check the box. And I'm not joking, right? You're going to end up going to something that says dual use priority mail express box DMP BOX2 pack of 10 or 25. And you're like, you're going to give me 10 or 25 boxes for free? And they go, yeah. And then you look at the price and it's $0.
Wow.
And you're like, oh man. That'll sit like if you've been out there spending money on supplies to ship, and then they're like, here now, UPS does this now, right? I think, and DHL Express does this, right? I think we were spending money at FedEx, but I think you can walk into and in fact, I think recently I walked into the UPS store and they even did all the boxing for me, right? Like I took physical stuff to the store, and then they were like, oh, we'll do it all for you. And maybe that's something people do a lot. I hadn't experienced it. Most of the stuff I do online is digital commerce, not physical. but I had to ship some stuff out for a conference I was doing, and
Wow.
I was like, this is incredible, right? I should go to the UPS store more often. So, free supplies and shifting what kinds of material you use to ship things will change your weight, change your overall cost, and that will get you getting you closer to the place where you could say, yeah, I can do free shipping too.
Okay. So one strategy that I saw when I was kind of researching this topic was if you absolutely have to charge shipping, just being transparent with your customers about how much the shipping is going to cost you, and showing them that so that they know that you're not trying to make a profit on the shipping costs. Is that something that you've tried or experienced?
Yeah, in fact, I can now admit it because I think it's been longer than nobody can come after me for this. It's been so long. But back in the late 90s, we were selling physical devices. We were selling phones, right? Digital phones, right at the turn of when we went from analog phones to digital phones. People may remember digital PCS and the different bandwidth. It was all digital. We were selling and shipping Nextel phones and Sprint phones and Pac-Bell mobile phones. We were selling these phones, and our margin on the device was next to nothing. We were getting kickback from the carriers for every activation we were turning on, and people would ask us, "What's your moneymaker?" And we were like, "Shipping," right? Because in those days, we didn't worry about. There wasn't a lot to worry about when it came to Amazon, and so we were just selling stuff and say, "Oh, it's $20 of shipping," and we were selling to corporations, and they were like, "Yeah, whatever. We pay shipping all the time. Just here." And we made money on it. Today, can't do that, right? Okay. You can't make shipping a revenue maker in your business. It's just way too common to have free shipping. And if you're going to charge shipping, like I said, you're going to want a flat rate. And you're going to want a flat rate that is more often than not lower than at a lowest level that people are going to go, okay, yeah, you're not making money on that. So if I'm shipping you stuff and I say I have a flat rate fee for shipping of $10, but I'm sending you big items, right? No one's going to be like, oh, he's making money on this. But if I send you a flat rate fee of $10 and I'm sending you paperclip, right? Right off the bat, I'm making money, right?
Right.
So the trick is, how do you figure out, right? Do enough of an analysis on your volume, on what you're selling, on what the weight is, whatever, what you're being charged, and get yourself to a number. Transparency is important, but transparency is a function, it's a proxy for what you're trying to do, which is develop trust, right? Engender trust with the customer. So you're using that transparency as a way to get people to trust you. And I'd say, yes, transparency is important. Even more important in that trust is predictability, right? And so if you can make it so that you say, listen, it doesn't matter what you're buying on this thing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. We do a $5 per delivery fee, and it's always $5. And if you buy it 100 pounds from us or 5 pounds from us, it's $5. They go, okay, I get it. Like you're consistent. You're not. I get it. You're not trying to make money off your shipping.
Sure.
If I can't do that, if the math doesn't clean up or clear there, then yes, the next step would be transparent and just pass through. Like, this is from USPS, or this is from FedEx. This is the cost. This is what it is. And the trick there is give people choices, give people options, right? Not 45 options, right? And it's crazy. If you go to UPS, if you go to FedEx, they have next day by 9 a.m., next day by 5 p.m., 2 day by this and that, 3 day by this, that, carried in a truck, carried on a plane, carried by a mule. By the time you're done, you have like 45 options. You're like, oh, I don't know what to pick. But I'm running this conference where I made t-shirts for everyone. And I said, all you have to do is pick your size and put in your address, and you're going to pay shipping, right? I'm not going to pay shipping. I don't know where you live. Some of you live far away, but you pay shipping. And you can decide if you want this the conference doesn't happen until September, October. But if you want it right away, you can accelerate that. if you don't want it right away, right? If you're willing to let it take a week, it's $2, right? So by giving people options, and they're like, yeah, it's Chris is transparent. It's a pass through. He's not making money on it. The lowest price for ground is $2, and he's charging me the $2. If it's this, and I go, yeah, I'm not trying to make money. I'm not trying to make money off you at all. I'm not going to cover the cost. And I don't know if some people are buying one t-shirt, some people are buying 3 t-shirts, and there's too much variability for me to come up with a magic number. And so then my next piece was give them 3 or 4 options where they can decide anywhere from, $1.99 to $6.99 of shipping. They can figure out what they want, right?
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. In terms of your flat rate that you're charging, I mean, you're obviously having different flat rates for like the size of the object, the quantity, right? You kind of have some different tiers of.
Well, what you try and do is you try and take all of your orders. Like, I worked with a company last year, right, where we collected all of the orders that they sent in the previous year, right? So it was their order volume of 2017. We were doing the exercise in 2018. We looked at all the order volume, and we looked at all the shipping that they had paid for everything, for the outliers. So people bought big stuff and people bought little stuff. When it was all said and done, it was crazy how narrow the variability was. Because you think in your head, yeah, but if someone buys 100 pounds and someone buys 1 pound, that's really different. But it turned out people weren't buying 100 pounds and 1 pound. They were buying between, half a pound to 1.5 pounds. That was the variability. Wow. And all of the transactions were sitting in this one round. And so by the time we were done, you could say, okay, and we did the exercise to get at, okay, on average, you're paying $15 in shipping. On average. Might be 14, might be 10, might be 18, might be 20, but on average, it was $15. So the next question was, do you want to create a flat rate $15 for everyone so that it's all predictable all the time? We had to get through the math to get to the number. But once we got to the number, then the customer was like, well, what if I just eat the $15? And not eat it as in I'm going to lose money. But the truth is, now that I've done all this math, I can go back and adjust different pricing on some different products and embed some. And this particular customer had some significant margins in some very popular products.
Okay.
So between tucking in, raising some prices and just eating some in margin in a couple of little places, when it was all said and done, we were able to do the math to get to, okay, I have 2 options. I can do free shipping or I can do $15 flat rate. Doesn't matter what you buy. It's just $15. And people were like, in this particular case, customers like, I think I'm going to eat it, but I'm going to eat it in a way that I don't eat it, right? Like I'm going to adjust some price, whatever. Yeah. But they could have just said it's $15 shipping. That's what it is. Doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
Then you can get fancy, right? It's $15 for everyone except my VIPs. So if you're in the top 10% of people who have made purchases from me, right? So another dynamic with a different customer is, they're hosted at Liquid Web, where we integrate Glue, right? Glue.io is a platform that auto segments their customers, right? So we took with another client, we took their top 10% of their, all their VIPs, and this was by total revenue spent. So this was not by average order value. This was by total revenue spent. We took the top 10%, spent the most money with us, and that was the segment. We took that segment, dropped it into their email system, which I think was ActiveCampaign or something. Then used a tool called WP Fusion that would integrate with that. So when the person logged into the store, right, they pulled the tags from their email system. The tags then went into the website, and then based on that, we could automatically put that customer into a user role, right? That was like, hey, they're a VIP, and then that triggered a coupon or a discount on their shipping and brought it to 0. So you say, I'm going to make my VIPs have 0 shipping where everybody else has 15 flat rate, right? So there's tools and technologies that can make this stuff work. But at the end of the day, right, the moral of that story was you got to do the math, right? You got to actually, you don't just like, let me see what, let me guess at what shipping should cost. you have to go through and do the math and figure out what's the variability, what's the dynamics, and what should I do from here.
Okay, great. Last word, are there any other like tips or tricks or special hacks you have for cutting costs on shipping?
So shipping is one of those things where almost everyone I talk to now is asking the question, hey, other than the free shipping dynamic, should I start looking at fulfillment by Amazon, right? Should I start looking at Amazon's fulfillment, Amazon's stuff? And we've talked about Amazon before, right?
Yeah.
And my general take is Amazon has a lot more fees today than they used to have. And it is important to do your research on knowing what it's really going to cost you to figure out if that's really cost saving.
Okay.
And we've also talked about the fact that if you're doing things today with inventory in lots of different places, it's creating financial nexus, which then impacts your need to collect more paperwork, do more paperwork, to collect sales tax, et cetera.
Yeah.
So my general take is for people who start thinking about what if I just offshoot, push off or outsource fulfillment, it may end up being more pricey than you thought it would, right? And so my recommendation is cut costs, but cut costs by the ways we've talked about, which is your packing weight and your supplies and how you get your supplies. Start there and bring your price down. Do the math like we've talked about so you can figure out if there's a flat rate or whether you drive towards transparency. Those are all steps I would do before I just push it out to someone else, because you may end up inviting more problems than you thought you were going to have.
That's great. Chris, this was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Take care.
All right, folks, there you have it. That wraps up my conversation with Chris Lemma. He shared a ton of valuable insights and advice today on how to keep your shipping methods competitive in today's online retail environment. We also shared some tools and resources, which will all be linked up in the show notes. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. Please consider subscribing, sharing with a friend, or leaving us a review in your favorite podcast directory. Until next time, best of luck in all that you do, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Store Builders Podcast.